Hey everybody, it's Kelly. I'm going to read you starting at chapter 5 for Magic Treehouse Merlin missions. The first one is Christmas in Camelot, and so I left you on chapter 4, so I'm going to start back with chapter 5, and we'll see what's going to happen next with Jack and Annie. Okay, so sit back and relax and just listen to the story. All right. And if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas Eve. All right. Okay, so just listen. Chapter 5, Rhymes of the Christmas Night. Morgan, said Annie. Annie ran to the table. She touched Morgan's cheek, then quickly pulled her hand back. She's cold as ice, said Annie. Tears filled her eyes. Annie turned to the Christmas night in a fury. Why did you do that to Morgan, she said. Bring her back now. Do not fear, said the Christmas night. His voice was a bit softer and kinder. She will come back to life after you complete your quest. Well, what exactly is our quest? Said Jack. You must journey to the other world, said the Christmas night. There you will find a cauldron. The cauldron is filled with water of memory and imagination. You must bring a cup of the water back to Camelot. If you fail, Camelot will never come back to life. Never. How do we do all that? Asked Annie, wiping the tears from her eyes. Remember these 3 rhymes, said the knight. Wait, Jack said. Let me write them down. His hands trembled as he pulled out his notebook and pencil. He looked at the Christmas night. Okay, I'm ready, he said. Gripping his pencil made Jack feel stronger. The knight's voice rang out from inside his helmet. Beyond the iron gate, the keepers of the cauldron wait. Jack quickly wrote down the knight's words. Okay, what's next? He asked. The Christmas night went on. 4 gifts you will need. The first from me, then a cup, a compass, and finally a key. Okay, cup, compass, key. Got it, said Jack. Then the Christmas knight's voice boomed again. If your service is to complete your quest, the secret door lies to the west. Jack copied down the last rhyme, and then he looked up at the knight. Anything else? He asked. Without a word, the knight pulled off his red cloak. He dropped it to the floor. It fell silently into a heap at Jack and Annie's feet. The Christmas knight snapped his horse's red reins, and then he galloped out of the great hall. Chapter 6, A White Comet. Chapter 6, A White Comet. Once the night was gone, the candles and torches in the great hall grew even dimmer. A bitter chill crept into the room. What do these rhymes mean? Said Jack, looking at his notebook. Who are the keepers of the cauldron, and what secret door? I don't know, said Annie. I just know we have to save Morgan. She gathered the red cloak up into her arms. We've got our first gift, she said. Let's go. Wait. We should figure this out first, said Jack. No, said Annie. We should just go. She turned and headed for the archway. Jack pushed his glasses into place and looked back at the round table, at the frozen king and the frozen queen, all the frozen knights, and he looked at Morgan Le Fay. He loved Morgan. She was a great friend and teacher. If he and Annie did not go on their quest, Morgan's story and the stories of Camelot and all the stories about the Magic Treehouse would end forever. Jack took a deep breath. He put his notebook into his backpack, and then he turned towards the archway. Annie, he said. Of course, she was gone. Annie, wait, he shouted, wait! Jack ran out of the great hall. Annie, I'm over here. She said, I'm waiting. She was standing at the entrance hall, peering outside. How do we get to the other world? She asked. Maybe the treehouse can take us there, said Jack. Come on. Uh-oh, low battery. Come on, let's go. Together, Jack and Annie hurried through the inner courtyard of the castle and over the drawbridge. They ran over the frozen ground to the moonlit grove of trees. Clutching at the red cloak, Annie started up the rope ladder. Jack followed her. They climbed inside the treehouse and they sat down on the floor. Annie picked up the royal invitation. "Close your eyes, Jack," she said. "I'll make the wish." Jack closed his eyes. He was shivering from the cold. "I wish we could go to the other world," said Annie. The bare branches of the trees rattled in the wind. Whoosh, whoosh. "I think it's working," whispered Annie. The wind stopped blowing. Jack opened his eyes. He and Annie looked out the window. The dark castle loomed against the sky. They were still in Camelot. It didn't work," said Jack. His teeth were chattering. "Yes, it did," whispered Annie. Look down." Standing below the treehouse was the biggest deer Jack had ever seen. The deer was staring up at them with amber eyes. His huge antlers seemed to glow in the cold moonlight. Most amazing of all, the deer was completely white as new fallen snow. Puffs of frosty air blew from the stag's nostrils. He stepped towards the tree and he shook his giant head. "He's come to take us on our journey," said Annie. People don't ride deer," Annie said Jack. But Annie had already started down the rope ladder. Jack watched from the window as she walked down to the stag and spoke very softly. The stag knelt down on its knees and Annie climbed on its back. "Come on," she called to Jack. "Bring the cloak." Okay, said Jack. He gathered up the huge heavy velvet cloak, clutching against his chest. He climbed down the rope ladder. He then hurried over to Annie and the white stag. "Put on the cloak and climb on behind me," said Annie. Jack put the cloak on over his backpack, and then he pulled it around his shoulders and he buttoned it up at the neck. As the cloak fell down around his body, the soft, smooth cloth made him feel really warm and safe. "Ready?" said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack. He climbed on the stag's back right behind Annie. So there you go. They're climbing onto the white stag with the huge antlers. See the snow and the castle behind them? Quite an adventure. The white stag slowly stood up. Annie leaned forward, putting her arms around the stag's neck. Jack leaned forward too. He held on to Annie. The red velvet cloak draped over both of them, falling past their feet. The white stag stepped gracefully over the frozen grass. He walked through the outer gate of the castle. He blew out a puff of air. And then he broke into a leaping run. Jack held on tightly to Annie as the stag dashed across the frost-covered field. He jumped over hedgerows and stone walls. He bounded across icy streams. Annie's braids floated into the wind. The red cloak billowed behind them. Jack was amazed at how easy it was to ride on the stag's back. He felt calm and safe as the stag sped like a white comet through the wintry countryside. The stag ran past flocks of sheep and herds of goats asleep in the meadows. He ran past thatched huts and quiet stables. The stag ran on and on. He ran through the starry night. Jack saw a cloud-covered mountain range way off in the distance. When they came close to the craggy mountains, Jack was sure the stag would stop. But he galloped on, not even breaking his stride as they started climbing up a rocky slope. The stag finally came to a halt on the ledge of a very steep cliff. In a windy swirl of fog and cloud, he knelt to the ground, and Jack and Annie slid off his back. The stag stood up. He stared down at them with his glowing amber eyes. "Thank you," said Annie. "Thank you so much. Do you have to leave now?" The stag lowered his head, and then he raised it back up again. Lowered and raised, and then he blew out a puff of frosty air. Then he leapt away, vanished into the mist. "Bye," said Annie wistfully. She stared into the mist for a moment, then turned to Jack. "What do we do now?" she said. "I don't know," said Jack. "Let's read those 3 rhymes again." He reached under the red cloak and he pulled off his pack. He took out his notebook and he started to read the first rhyme. "Beyond the iron gate." "Jack," Annie interrupted him. Look over there." Jack looked up. The wind had blown away some of the fog. Beyond the cliff rose another mountain, and on that mountain a huge gate was built right into its side. A pale light shone between the gate's thick iron bars. 2 knights in gold armor stood guard under flaming torches. "That's it, the iron gate," said Annie. "If we pass through that gate, we'll be in the other world." Chapter 7, A Good Trick. As the wind blew away more fog, Jack and Annie saw a bridge. It was made of thick wooden planks. It was held together with iron bands. It stretched all the way from the edge of the cliff where they were standing down to the iron gate. "Come on, let's go," said Annie. "Wait," said Jack, "what about the 2 guards?" The 2 guards in gold armor stood perfectly still. Their huge spears gleamed in the torchlight. I don't know," said Annie. "I don't know. Read that second rhyme." Jack looked in his notebook and read aloud. "4 gifts you will need, the first from me, then a cup, a compass, and finally a key." "The first gift is a Christmas knight's cloak," said Annie. "Yeah, I guess it's supposed to help us somehow," said Jack. He unbuttoned the cloak from around his neck, then he held it out to get a good look at it. "Maybe it can make us invisible," said Annie. "That's nuts," said Jack. "Seriously," she said, "cloaks do that sometimes in stories." And here's where they are. They were on that cliff, and down there's the bridge and the 2 soldiers. "So," she said, "cloaks sometimes do make you invisible." "Well, it didn't make me invisible, did it?" said Jack. Maybe you were wearing it wrong," said Annie. "Give it to me. Let me see." "Oh, brother," said Jack. But he handed the cloak to Annie. It flapped in the wind as she put it on her shoulders. "Can you see me?" she said. "Yes, Annie," Jack said, rolling his eyes in his head. "I can see you." Jack looked back at the gate. Even if we get past those guards, what then? He wondered. The other world swallowed up Camelot's best knights, King Arthur, and it was filled with magic and monsters. "Jack, look at me now." Jack turned to Annie. She wasn't there. "Where are you?" he said, staring at the darkness. "Cool, it works," she said. "Where are you?" said Jack. "Annie, where are you?" "Here." Jack felt a hand touch his face. "Ah," he said, jumping back. "It's me. I'm invisible. I pulled the hood over my head. That's the trick. You have to pull the hood over your head." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "Oh, man," he whispered. Watch me," said Annie. "I'm going to take the hood off." In a flash, Annie was back. "Feels creepy to be invisible," she said. Jack was speechless. "The magic only happens when you wear the hood," said Annie. "Good trick, huh?" Yeah," said Jack. He shook his head. "But I don't know, this is just too weird." "Don't worry about it being weird. It's a great way to get past the guards," said Annie. "Plus, it's a way to hide in the other world. We don't know what we'll find there, right?" "Yeah, right," Jack said. "Okay." "Good," said Annie. "Now stand beside me and don't move." Jack put away his notebook. Annie threw the velvet cloak over his shoulders and his backpack. "Great," she said. "It's big enough for both of us." She carefully arranged the folds around them. Then she pulled a huge hood over both of their heads. Jack looked down. He couldn't see his body at all. He felt like he couldn't breathe. He panicked. He threw off the hood. "I hate that," he said. I told you it's creepy," said Annie. "I know, but if we don't wear it, we won't get past the guards." "Yeah, I know, and we won't have protection in the other world," said Jack. He took a deep breath. "All right, let's do it." Annie pulled the hood up again. "I'll hold onto the hood, Jack, so it won't blow off. You just think about getting across the bridge, nothing else." But I can't see my feet," said Jack. "You don't need to see your feet to walk," said Annie. "Come on, let's do it for Morgan." "Right," said Jack. He and Annie stepped onto the bridge. "Whatever you do, don't look down," said Annie. As they started over the bridge, the wind whistled around them. Whoosh! Jack couldn't help it. He looked down. Not only was his body missing, but the fog beneath the bridge was moving in a wild, spinning circle. Jack felt dizzy and faint. He stopped. "Keep going," Annie whispered. "You can do it, Jack." Jack took a deep breath and looked straight ahead. He started walking again. He went slowly, step by step, toward the pale light beyond the bars of the gate. In the flickering torchlight, the guards looked like giants as Jack and Annie slipped invisibly right by them. Jack held his breath. "How will we open the gate?" he wondered. Whoosh, said Annie loudly. Jack's heart nearly stopped. Had Annie lost her mind? What are you doing? He whispered. I'm the wind, Annie whispered back. Whoosh, 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 she said. Annie gave the gate a shove. It swung open, as if it was pushed by the wind. Jack looked back and saw the guards had turned into their direction. Quick, whispered Annie. She and Jack moved silently through the gateway. Whoosh, Annie said, whoosh. She pushed the gate back. It shut with a clang. Through the bars, Jack saw the guards face the bridge again. Good work, he said to Annie. Thanks, she said. Jack and Annie then turned away from the gate. Oh, whispered Annie. The other world, whispered Jack. All right, they're in the other world. I'm going to read you chapter 8 through 11 in a few minutes. So if you like the video, just hit like or subscribe and you get to see more of my videos. And I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'm really listening. I like you listening, and I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, all right. Talk to you soon.